Okie dokie. So now that the ASAM conversion kit is here, we can actually finally get around to fixing this thing and making this into a somewhat usable derelict mower. So yeah, not really 100% certain exactly what I'm in for, but I did find a guide on it. It doesn't look too hard. The hardest part is just going to be getting all of the accoutrements off of the engine as well as the cover, just so I can get in there to access the coil. And then I think once I've at the point where I can access the coils and the flywheel, I think it's all pretty straightforward, so long as I can get a flywheel puller in here and actually pop the flywheel off. Hopefully shouldn't be too hard, but it is going to be a massive pain in the ass doing all of this around the, hydraulic lines and throttle cables and all that other stuff, because I don't want to take any of that off. But it should just be taking this top cover off and then finding all of the various bolts all along the side of this that are holding this guy on and knocking that sucker off, popping out those little snap washers and just getting in there and getting to the guts. And then once we have access to that, so long as there isn't a whole bunch of corroded bolts holding everything together that are going to snap off like some other ones have done on this mower, should be pretty straightforward. And I'm definitely not pulling the motor out of this thing. So without any further ado, I'm going to figure out how I can turn this thing around on the slab so that, I can scooch it over that way some and get the butt end facing the garage door. And yeah, and then we'll finally be able to start work in earnest. Look at that. Yazoo beer for the Yazoo mower. Not really, I'm working on the Kia right now, but this is pretty damn good. What is this? Imperial Smoke Porter, 9%. This shit's good. I'm more of a stout guy than a porter guy, but every once in a while, a porter just hits perfect. All right, so the next step in the whole Yazoo saga is I gotta get this thing someplace I can work on it. Trouble is right now, I don't want to work out outside because it's cold and it rains, and I don't have any room in here. So my current strategy is, one, I gotta get with the guy who these duck boxes and that and these boards for an Osprey platform are going to, and I need to get rid of these two chairs over here and consolidate some of this shit and make some more room. But once that's all out of the way and it's not cold anymore and I can take my peppers back out, I've got these wheel dollies I bought. Good Lord, are they heavy. So the plan is with those is eventually one day I can use them for the Corvette and I can slide the Corvette over here once I have enough room cleared on this side of the garage to be able to fit the damn thing, because it's, yay long. So I've got to get, at the very least, cleared up to here. So that's not going to be here forever, and ideally these would go in the fucking attic. And I can just put these toolboxes, ass to ass, and slide this guy down here and get rid of those and push this up here and have enough room to have the Corvette, and I can just slide the Corvette over here. And then I've got this whole garage in here so that if I ever have to swap the engine in the fucking Jeep, because I know that's coming, because fuel economy keeps going down and the blow-by keeps going up. That does not mean that you have plenty of life left in your engine, but I digress. I think short term I can, get enough room behind the Corvette that I can scooch the Yazoo in right here and work on it in the garage and then scooch it right back on out. So that's what we're going to do with these moving dollies. Did I spend a lot of money on moving dollies? Yes. Did I buy anything other than the lowest bottom of the barrel moving dollies? No. But they're heavy, which means that they probably are great. So anyway, they'll be worth it in the long run. But anyway, it was an excuse. I'm just trying to find some way to stop procrastinating. I am running out of time. More and more and more with each passing year. Everyone keeps electing me president of things. So that's the current plan with the Yazoo is get her wheeled in here so I can work on her this winter. And then get that flywheel fixed, push her on back out here, and hope that it goes places. And just like that, she's spun a 180. So we got those suckers on there, and they work all right, except these fuckers up here on the deck are way under greased. Just put up way too much air in both of them, and that'll leak out in about 15 minutes, but it was enough to get her spun around. So as long as I can get, well, hell, if I can get that whole area cleared out, then I can just slide the Corvette on over there, and that would make doing work on a bunch of stuff way fucking easier. So I think that's my plan, is to get enough of that side of the garage cleared out that I can get the Corvette onto that side. But we shall see. It may just be easier to slide this sucker over there on the other side. I don't know. I really just need to have the back end of it in there so I can work on, yeah, everything north of here is where I need it, but I think it's probably going to just be easier to get the Corvette fucking slid over anyway. I don't know. We'll see. And just like that, I was able to rearrange some stuff and get the Yazoo actually in the garage with plenty of room, surprisingly. Well, at least enough for my peppers. I really gotta get rid of those fucking duck boxes. And the battery's out. And on trickle charge. Why? Because it's something I can do today. Sometimes you just need that. All right, well, I managed to get the cowl off too, and I only snapped 3 bolts. So that's a new record. So snapped this guy off and both of those guys off. Thankfully, none of those are particularly important. And yeah, they're just going into these little ears in the side of the head, of course. But anyway, I digress. I'll have to drill those out and retap them for something not stupid. Or I'll probably just run self-tappers into it. I don't know. I mean, I even put 10 foot-pounds on them and the damn thing snapped off. But anyway, I digress. That sucker's off, so we can finally get into the guts of this thing. And it looks like we should have enough room to get a flywheel puller on there. So I just need to pull this plastic wing vane thingy off of here. So I think I'm going to do that, and that's probably as far as I'm going to go tonight. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I completely forgot to say, it's 2 5/16 bolts up here. They're probably going to snap off. Another one right here, and another one right here. And then additionally, the 2 Phillips heads holding this guy on. And then on the other side, it's 2 10 mils holding on the fuel pump, another 2 5/16 over here, and then 1 5/16 here, and then down here, 2 more 5/16 holding on this, I'm assuming, regulator of some flavor, and then another one of those holding the ground wire down here for this regulator, which just kind of has this jumper wire. Don't know why they didn't, just integrate a ground into this harness they already have plugged into the thing, but what the fuck do I know? So there's a jumper wire that goes from this ear down to, I believe, right here on this backsplash, back guard, whatever you want to call it, behind the flywheel on the engine. So that's all that's holding it on there. I don't even think you have to take this cover off. You do have to pop this sucker off of the flywheel. All of my, push-on washers just disintegrated, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Probably just not put that thing back on. I don't know. Might pick some up. We shall see. But I'm going to see if I can get that those cooling fins off of there, because these are just glass-filled nylon. And fuck it. I might even try and pull the flywheel off. And without a terribly huge amount of fight, we have the flywheel off, and that is the world's cleanest stator. I'm actually surprised how clean the fucking crankshaft is. I would have thought that would have been a hell of a lot worse considering what this motor's seen, but now it's just a matter of swapping out the coils and cutting this guy out and routing the new wires in and putting new flywheel on, and should go back together. It's only taken me 2 hours, if that, to get this far. Most of that was just fighting the flywheel, so yeah, exciting. Might even be able to whip this thing back together in 5 hours. We'll see. All right, so I just decided to go ahead and try and get everything in tonight because it looked like it was fairly straightforward. I've got the new flywheel in. It's torqued to 49 foot-pounds, and I'm currently trying to work through getting the ignition modules on there, but I'm running into a weird issue, which is that these instructions are fucking garbage. It takes 3 sentences to say, go find the technical service bulletin to figure out how to put the new flywheel on, instead of just writing, torque the new flywheel to 49 foot-pounds, or fucking whatever, because I think they're all the fucking same for this damn engine or something. They could have just put the damn torque specs in here, but instead they went through the fucking effort of... Anyway, it's just... And then it says, And then you have to turn these either out or in based off of which cylinder it is. And they don't tell you which cylinder is which. Literally no instructions. It just says go look somewhere else and figure that shit out, you stupid fucking idiot. They're not labeled. There's nothing on the head that says cylinder 1 or cylinder 2. How the fuck are you supposed to? So anyway, now I know that it is on this 22S, it is the right cylinder when you're looking from the flywheel, because it's always the cylinder that is closest to the flywheel. And as you can see, these are offset. That's there. So that guy, the one closest to the flywheel, is always cylinder 1 in a V-twin. Couldn't they have just fucking written that or put a diagram in there? It's not like they were hurting for paper. They have a fucking blank page on the back. Good fucking God. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna get this thing together. I just spent 30 minutes trying to fucking find that shit out. Why should that be difficult? All right, so I got everything back together, and I even put the sticker on the hole. And instead of drilling out all of the broken bolts, I just drilled a hole in all of them and then just ran some shitty-ass sheet metal self-tappers in them, because they're just holding on this piece of plastic right here. But so long as I put the ignition coils on the correct direction on both sides, I have a feeling like I may have put that one on backwards, because it really does not give me enough room on this fucking spark plug wire. So we shall see, but I'm fixing to just throw the battery in it, fire it up, and if she touches off, great, and if she doesn't, I probably put the coils on backwards. It definitely felt like I put them on backwards, but I think I would have had no clearance on either. Anyway, shit was fucked, and I was like, I've got that wire is like smashed up against the intake and then smashed up against the housing, and it's just rough, but I feel like it would have done that on either side no matter what I did, because they did not give me like any spare spark plug wire, but we're gonna huck a battery in this thing and spray her down with Cosby sauce and just see if she chooches. And if we do, then I think we're in business. Then we just have to work on everything else. All right, battery's in. However, starter's being sad, so I think I'm gonna throw a jumper on it and just see if this battery's just giving up the ghost. The charger says it's charging fine, but I have a feeling like it's this 1-year warranty battery that's 3 years old and sat in the field the entire time is might not have all the amperage it's supposed to. So give me a second. All right, put her on boil battery mode. All the lights just dimmed. Give her a snort. See what the hell happens. That sounds like progress. I think we might have done something right. Anyway, all the lights in the garage dimmed when I did that, so I'm gonna not do that. We'll just put her on 12 amp. And oh yeah, she sucked her down. Let's give her one more snort, see if we can get her to idle. Well, we managed to suck all the power out of the battery already. So, yeah, the battery is hella sad. Try that one more time. Ooh, yeah, okay. All right, battery charger does not like that. This battery is bad, but the mower runs now, so that's exciting. Okay, so that was actually far easier than I expected as far as doing all the engine overhaul shit. I mean, that literally took me like 4 hours. I could have done this a long time ago. Well, I've only had this thing lying around for like 2 months, but anyway, I digress. And I've been busy as hell. But we are getting close to having a functional mower again, I think. I said it out loud. Knock on wood. Well, knock on cypress to be extra safe. So we're not out the woods yet. We still got to figure out what the fuck's going on with the transmission. I need to pull that dipstick and just see if there's still water on it, because if there is, then it's gotten in there, because we've had some hellacious rainstorms over the last like month. So there's water in there again. Then it's getting in somewhere other than that vent, in which case I have no idea what the fuck to do about it. But if not, we might be good. Still both brakes are seized, so we'll have to get this thing back to the point where it's running and driving, and then take it back outside and just put her up on jack stands and pull the wheels off and see if we can do something about these seized drum brakes. And then everything on this needs to be greased and lubed up again, because they're just rough. Yeah, it's still telling me the battery's good, so I think we've lost a shit ton of capacitance. Either that or I just have really bad contacts. Probably also could just be bad contacts, but who knows? All right, so there has been a major development in the story of the Yazoo, and that's that I got the fucking duck boxes up, so they're not my garage anymore. And future me is putting photos of duck boxes up right here, but there are no longer duck boxes I have to deal with, although I still have all the lumber for an Osprey platform, so don't worry about that. But we now have a lot more room to get in here and work on things. So I really don't know what's next. Probably, I guess I'll just work on the drum rotors, brakes, whatever you want to call them. Because I don't really want to die of carbon monoxide poison trying to run this piece of shit in here testing the fuel system. So I think once I get the drum rotors figured out, cleaned up, everything else greased up and moving as best as I can, I think we can push her back outside and then get, the fuel system primed and everything set back up. I guess, well, I should probably try and test it, make sure the carburetor's not fouled again first. And I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with this hydraulic system. I'm pretty certain the seals are totally shot. I guess I could rebuild it, but I have no idea what I'm doing, and I really don't want to have to take it apart if I don't have to. So, I don't know. We'll find out. Tune in to the same video you're watching right now, but 5 seconds after this. All right, so it's been a month or so, but I finally have a second to look at this thing again. Just took the passenger side wheel off, and it was very dirty behind there, and maybe a slight wheel seal leak, but nothing I would be worried about. I mean, it was like probably a teaspoon of oil between the rim, the brake assembly, and the rotor, so I'm not worried about that. Nothing appears to be seized on account of the fact of the slow wheel seal leak. So everything is nice and coated in transmission oil, which is probably why this one did not lock up, because it was greased brakes. So I have not brake cleaned anything, but I guess I will brake clean this out real quick. This all still seems to work, so it's hard to rotate because the transmission's got so much play on it. But it does seem like this expands, but it doesn't really move all that freely. That's the problem child over there. This one should just go forward. So I believe that is this. And, well, it moved. Well, these don't really look all that expanded. Yeah, that came out. So this one is moving linkage-wise, so there's nothing impeding it. Does it return? Oh yeah, there we go. Whole pile of shit came out of it. There we are, that's what it needed. And if I just give it a little domestic abuse, there. Seems to be perfectly adjusted as well. There's nothing screwy going on, so it must just be something jammed up on the other side. I'm hoping it's not all rusted together and it's just like a stick or some shit jammed in there, but we'll get that sucker back on there and get this sketchy jack situation out of the way. And look at the other side and see what that's like. All right, so I got the sucker apart and only required a minor amount of beating, and it seems to just be rusty. That seems to be it. The linkage is totally free. Everything moves just fine. I pulled the star adjuster out, tried to adjust it, and it's already all the way in, put it back in. Trouble appears to be just corrosion on here. Just the cankers have built up enough that it's, reduced the clearances, and this has been scratched. And so I think there's just a little too much mung between the pads and the rotor, because there's plenty of life on these pads. And also this also appears to be it too, is there's corrosion underneath the brake pad. And so now the brake pads are pushing up against it. And there's not really anything I can do about that without spending money. So I think we're just going to let this sucker self-tolerance because it's working. It's just it needs to eat itself alive for a little bit. Probably also the reason why this is as rusty as it is because of the fact that it got screaming hot and I sprayed it with water 5 times. So I don't think there's anything I can really do about this. I mean, like I just said, I can't adjust the star adjuster anymore. It's all the way bottomed out. You know, I can make it longer. I can't make it any shorter. Otherwise, I would just do that to compensate. So, you know, it's super proud on this side, actually. Not really anything I can do about that, I don't think, other than buying new brake shoes. And I'm not doing that. So we're just going to put this sucker back on and let her self-clearance. Fucking hell. I mean, this, you know, isn't all that bad. It's not like it's seized. I think it just heats up and gets stuck up on itself. So, you know, just burning the hell out of it a couple times should probably fix that. So, good enough. Now that the brakes are assumedly problem-free, we're charging batteries again. Well, that's never good. Well, that might just be the end of the old cousin mower. Might end up being my other cousin mower, but let's go get that out of the way. Let's tow that thing out of the way. Funnily enough, her dad set this thing on fire, and my grandma hauled the old fire extinguisher on the porch out there to put it out. So it's everything's coming around full circle. 50 years later, that fire extinguisher only weighs like fucking 60 pounds. All right, so the next thing I want to work on is the hydraulic system, because I can work on the fuel system, but if I get the fuel system going, then it's just going to pump hydraulic fluid up into this piston and start belching it out everywhere again. So I'm going to deadhead this thing. And so in order to do that, I've picked up these hydraulic fittings from this very cringe named company. So these are just some, I believe these are hopefully the fittings I need. It should attach to one of these. I'm not certain which. I'm hoping the sizing is correct. I went and checked the actual parts diagram and got the sizes, so hopefully the parts diagram is correct. If not, it was like $10. So anyway, we won't cry too much about it. But I'm just going to take this fitting off and just cap off the hydraulic piston and cap off the line, and so that'll just disable this guy up here, and so it'll just always be in float. And then that'll keep that from blowing hydraulic fluid up into here, which then goes down into the system, and that's how the water's getting in, I assume. So that's my short-term fix for that. And then if I can figure out how to rebuild this piston, I can do that at a later point. But for the time being, this should be a fairly ready solution. So I'm going to get a catch pan under this for all the nasty gunk that's in there. Take that sucker off, put this sucker on, and call it a day, I hope. All right, here comes the goop. Oh yeah, that's, well, there's a lot less in there than I thought there was. Might try pulling that pin and pushing it out. It seems to have mostly drained. Well, that's good. All right, let's see. There's a lot less in there than I thought. The seals don't seem to be totally failed. I think this thing is still rebuildable, I hope. I don't feel any crunching, but seems that all the goop has drained off out of it. Huh, that's a good sign. All right, well, that's done. That was pretty painless. Just need a 9/16 wrench. The other thing is this battery, I think I've had it sitting here for 2 weeks or so now, just percolating, and I want to see if it's still good. So the thing is saying it's got 12 on it. And still says it's doing very good for a 6-volt battery, which is probably not a good sign. Yeah, I'm pretty confident this battery is toast. Great, so I need a new battery. Well, that's the next step, I guess. Okie dokie, new battery is in, shiny and brand new. Got the the fuel line properly set up, and I'm just gonna see if it touches off. Okay, so electrical still works. I think I need to try and fill up the bowl in the carburetor and get this thing to at least run off the bottle, because, well, there's still some gas in there, but it's suspect what condition it's in. So I think pretty much all of the easy to burn stuff has burned off out of here, and it's just down to red mung. So I actually need to put gas in the Jeep, so I'm gonna go put 2 gallons in the Jeep and maybe swish another gallon in there, and maybe pull this sucker off and try and bottle feed and prime this thing. So I'll catch you once I got that set up. All right, fresh gas in the tank, carb cleaner down the vents. We'll see if it just grenades. I don't think she's pulling fuel yet. Well, we'll try that again. All right, the bowl should be full of fresh E-free gas, so let's see if she does it. Nope, looks like she's not pulling gas. Yep. All right, so I just did that twice more, and we didn't get anything through here. I even held the filter up above the fuel pump, and it's still not pulling gas, so I think this valve is probably shot. So I'm just going to do what my cousin had done before, and we're going to pull this line off, stick it right there, and take this line off and just plumb it right into the fuel filter, and that should solve any problems we had there. Unless there's a plug down here on this guy, but I think this has like a 1/2-inch standoff, so I don't think that's possible. But yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit of gas plumbing, and I know that just running this line right to there will work, so we shall see. All right, so I've confirmed that fuel does go from here to here because I replaced the fuel filter and then I blew fuel up into this. So we're just gonna crank on her again, and hopefully the choke is enough to prime this fuel pump and get her going and refuel this bowl and have her running on her own power. Alrighty, we have a mower again. So the fuel pump is sucking fuel like a fuel pump should. The hydraulic line, I flicked that switch, and we didn't blow any hydraulic fluid out anywhere, so that seems to be good to go. Well, as good as that hanky solution is. And I'm not going to do the blades in here because I don't want anything going into yonder Corvette, but we might just have a mower again. I think all I need to do is work on the fiddly bits. You know, we got the brakes done, we've got the ignition all tuned in, brand new battery, fuel line refixed, and yeah, so it's just, I think, doing a transmission flush again and probably putting a new filter and a new 20-something bucks worth of oil, or 40-something bucks worth of oil in there, and yeah, oh, and tubing those things. I'm hoping I might just be able to pull these off, and that it might just be bad valve stems. We shall see. I do have a valve stem puller, so I think that's the next thing. Oh, that's actually holding air. I haven't put any air in these since I wheeled this thing in there. Oh yeah, they're both holding air now for inexplicable reasons. Huh, okay. I'm not gonna complain. So at this point, if I wanted to, I could wheel her outside and start cutting grass, but there's a bunch of quality of life stuff I want to do to this thing, so I'm actually probably going to work through all of that slowly until the grass just gets too out of whack, and then we'll go cut grass with it. But I have other stuff I need to do today, like get that mower out of here, because that's not my mower, and patch tubes in the gator, so yeah. All right, so the first thing on that list I wanted to get done was adjusting the seat, and I did that, and it's in the right spot. So it was a waste of the last 20 minutes. But I did put a bolt in there. I don't know why I got British in my accent there for a second. But anyway, I put a bolt in there. So now the seat doesn't jiggle as much. But I still need to work out some bump stops. Because at the moment, my fat ass is just banging, leaf spring to steel down there. And hurt your butt. All right, so I got my list out now. And now this is everything I've got, at least from back when, that I still need to do to this thing. So I need lids for the fuel tanks. I think I've got that figured out now. I just have this one with a pot lid, or pot, bottom zip tied to it, bungee corded to it. Oh, that only needs to be there when I'm not using it, so that's probably fine. So I think I can cross that out. Fuel tanks, they're clean. You can take that out. The front decks, tires, they seem to be holding air. They've had air in them now for over a month, so I think they're serviceable. You just need to top them off, once every 3 months or so. But I mean, eventually I'll put a deck in them. Probably need to put new valve stems in them. That's probably all it is. Let's see. Seat bump stop. That's the next thing. Oh, and repack the oil breather. I ain't doing that. I've sheared so many bolts so far. Not even gonna attempt to do that. But the bump stop, I think I have something for it. So these are some body mounts out of something. Dad doesn't remember where the hell they came from. They're 40, 50 years old. They came out of some probably 80s car or something, but they've been in the half-inch socket drawer for my entire life. And we're going to use these. So I think what I'm going to do is trim this little foreskin off of the bottom of them, and then take a step bit and drill them out to the point where they will fit over these lock nuts. And then ideally I want them to sit like that down on top of this thing, so that when my fat ass slams into them, it bumps instead. So I think we're going to take a hacksaw and shave that off, and see how deep I can get the step bit on it. And once we can get those to fit snug, one on either side, that should be the bump stops figured out. So let me do that right quick. All right, well, there we go. I just kind of popped them on in there, got up on the seat, slammed my ass onto them a couple of times, and then jammed a crowbar in this way, and they're meant. So couldn't really have asked for anything better than that. What the hell else is on the list? So, deck elevation plate support. So this little pizza shit up here, this is the adjustment for your deck height. This raises the deck up and down, and it does so by having this plate held solid and this plate held solid, and then when you turn this screw, it moves this in and out, which then rotates this bar, which then cams that lever, which then raises or lowers your deck. However, this plate on the outside is unsupported on the top, so it just kind of bends this plate right here out when you put too much torque on it. So what I need to do is figure out something, probably just put something here that runs down in front of this that just holds this in place. Get another piece of steel, bolt it here, and have it come down and go underneath this bolt, just to keep it all where it's supposed to be. Something like that, or actually probably just, hell, I can, what is this? That's just holding this spring in place. Is that screw even doing anything? I don't even think that bolt's doing anything other than keeping that thing from bottoming out. So really, I could just run a fucking self-tapper through here, and that should do it. Or drill another hole right about here and just run a bolt with a nut in there coming out the back. I guess I would have to do over here so that it doesn't interfere with this spring that holds that in place. But something like that should be all it needs, so I'm going to attempt that. Well, on second thought, I don't feel like doing that right now because my back hurts and I would have to finagle in here. So we'll do that another date, and I'll just not adjust the deck for now, but we'll keep that on the list. All right, so looking at this right now, there's really only two things I can do, and that's attempt to fix the parking brake catch as well as the choke lever. The support for the deck elevation plate, I could probably get away with just like tacking a C-clamp on there or something, or running a bolt through something. It's something I can do, but it's much easier to do when it's outside and not when it's inside and I have to get in the way of everything. The transaxle fluid flush, I want to get a little bit of time on this before I flush it. I want all of that water to get pulled out of the system and put into the actual pan where I can get it out of there. So I want to wait a little bit before I do that. So that's really it, is just the choke lever and the parking brake. So the choke lever, the problem with it is that it does this. It's kind of very rusty and trying to like separate from this housing. The only trouble is I don't really have a way to get in there to actually work on it because it's all sealed up. So I would have to take this top plate off or something. So I'm not really certain how I'm going to be able to get up in there and work on that doohickey. So we might just put that off again. And additionally, the choke lever or the parking brake is kind of in the same position. It may actually work. I'm not really certain. But it's this handle right here, and all it does is it locks that lever in place. So I just need to double check that actually, because yeah, it's just that guy right there, which pulls on that thing, and I think that just has some like ratchet teeth or something that gauge with this somehow gets this all locked up. Not really certain, but we'll figure it out live on TV. Well, it's working. Or not. Oh, no, it works just fine. It's just sticky. Does it? Okay, well, it works, so fixed. Great. Well, I earned this choke lever, which, I mean, it still works. It's just funky. That's it. So I'm just worried this is going to break off at some point because it's so hanky. I think it's literally just this plate right here with these two screws are on is bent. I think I can get a screwdriver in there and just bend it. Let me try that. All right, so choke lever's fixed. It was just this bolt was loose, and so this was moving back and forth, and this was a little bit bent. It's still a little bit stiff, but I've learned that it really doesn't have as much throw as it appears to, so that's all it needs, because there's the actual lever. So it's a little misleading because you think it should go all the way up here, but that's all as far as it goes, actually. So that's all the choke it needs, so that's fine now. So that's fixed, and the parking brake works, just sticky. So there's nothing short term that needs to be done, as far as I can remember. Yeah, that's done. Deck tubes are holding air for now. I'm not worried about the elevation plate. I'm not planning on changing that. Transaxle fluid, I need to run that. The only other thing that I need to do is I need to find a cover for this engine, because I don't like this sitting out there in the elements and just getting shit all over this. So I want something that I can plop over this engine. Additionally, I feel like I keep getting water on top of the battery, and that's like getting into here and somehow fucking with it. I know those are sealed, but still, it still bothers me. I feel like I got water into the old battery. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I would like something to at least cover the engine, because this doesn't have a cowl. Normally you just throw a tarp over it. I really hate tarps. They're plastic, they melt, they're wet, they get shit in them. So I'm thinking I might take one of these derelict wheelbarrows that don't have tubes in their tires. This one is complete pizza. I just spent a lot of time welding it back together, but the tire's totally gone. The rim is gone as well. I might, and like I can't adjust any of these bolts, so the whole thing is just rickety as all hell. So I might just get in here with an angle grinder and just hack all these bolts off and just take this thing, and this should be perfect. I should just be able to slop that down on here like that, cover up the whole center console in this, and just keep all the electromechanicals out of the rain. But I think that's it. So I might actually, I'm going to get that guy out of the way, and I think we're going to push this outside and see if we can cut grass. All right, we're done, I think. I guess let's fire up and see what the hell happens and take this sucker off of here before it eats a hole through that. Now, with any luck, she should just fire right up. Shit. Well, she runs. But anywho, yeah, we have a Yazoo again for whatever that's worth. I don't know why I wanted this thing again, but we have it. And get it up and running again for less than $500, so that's good. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna use this thing for and cutting grass. I already have a mower, and I have it free access to however many mowers I want. All I have to do is just tell people I'll fix their mower for them for free, and they just give me a mower. It's really easy. It's a pyramid scheme. You can just do it yourself. Just tell people I'll fix your mower, and you just take it and you just use it, change the oil, and then you just cut your grass and burn up all their gas. And you know, you can cut your grass for pretty much free. You do have to change the oil and the filter and all that, but anyway, I digress. You don't have to pay for the upkeep. They do. Anywho, yeah, we got the Yazoo running and driving and cutting grass again, so that's exciting. I guess what I'm gonna do with it is offer it to my cousin, because her mower kind of went up in flames over there. Yeah, so she might want this thing, or probably not. I don't know, but I'm at least going to offer it because I sure as hell don't need it. But anywho, and she's got a garage that doesn't have anything in it right now. So anyway, and I have a garage that doesn't have anything in it. That's a miraculous, and I need to get those fucking things on this Corvette so I can sluice her over there. That would be primo. But anyway, I digress. Well, I think that is the end of this Yazoo episode. So if you like what I'm doing here, consider giving the video a like, comment. Tell me if you got a Yazoo and something's wrong with it and you need help figuring out how to do something. You know, I don't read those things, but you know, it'll make you feel better. It's cathartic to go in there and vent somewhere. So just go down there and just vent in the comments. Call me an idiot. Do whatever you want. Smooth brain, inbred hick, because that's what I am. And if you want to see more of this hot garbage, then you got to subscribe. So smash that big gray button. Until next time, I'm out.